Koyaanisqatsi, Koyaanisqatsi, Oh, hello there. It's Sarah. I'm reviewing the film Koyaanisqatsi this week. It's a 1982 film by Godfrey Reggio. He's from Louisiana. So, this movie is a real beaut. It's lacking in a lot of things that you might think a movie might need, such as characters and a plot. But it's an experimental documentary, so it has other things that are pretty cool about it. This movie is one of a trilogy, the Qatsi trilogy. Ooh, the Qatsi trilogy. So this is the first one from 1982, then Powakatsi, then Nakakwatsi. Nako Koyaanisqatsi is an experimental documentary, and what that means is that the director has an idea of what he wants, but he doesn't convey it through a narrative. He does it by trying to create a sort of mood or tone that conveys his point. And so the word Koyaanisqatsi is a Hopi word. Hopi are a Native American group that reside in the Southwest. Now they're kind of concentrated in Arizona, but before the stupid Spanish people came, they lived much more all over the place in the Southwest. So the Hopi word Koyaanisqatsi means unbalanced life. And I try not to go into movies like knowing too much about it because I want to come to my own conclusions, but I could pick up on what he meant by unbalanced life without any of the traditional things you think you need in a movie. So I think that Godfrey Reggio meant for unbalanced life to mean that people these days were interacting with the world in a way that wasn't natural and didn't fit quite right. So Koyaanisqatsi has an interesting structure. I can say one thing about this movie: it is unexpected. The first half hour or so is just a lot of nature shots, sand dunes, rock formations, mountains, waterways. It's kind of like Planet Earth, but without the narration. You're like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? But then the movie starts picking up, and you kind of get into the city, and you get to see people more and how they're interacting with the environment, and sort of implied how we're ruining the environment with all of our machines and polluting cars and just driving these like weird lines and stuff into the, beautiful natural vistas. So the music is done by Philip Glass, and Philip Glass, probably one of the most famous, if not the most famous composer of the 20th century, in that it's a composer that people actually know the name of. Like, try to name another composer who's not like Bach and Beethoven, like from the 20th century. You can't really name too many. Philip Glass is one of the few. He was, minimalist dude, and he did, a lot of film scores, but I think this might have been his first, because I know he was really hesitant to do it. But it's really fantastic. So fantastic that apparently Philip Glass scored the movie as it was presented to him, and then the director, Godfrey Reggio, re-edited the movie so that it was timed perfectly to the music, which was a perfect decision. Otherwise, this movie would have been intolerable. The second part of the film picks up with the pace of the music and actually really gets to the point of being kind of overwhelming. A lot of the film is time lapse, sped up, and so it's sped up to the rhythm of the music. There's a really great shot of this woman working at a Twinkie factory, and she's sorting these Twinkies, and she's putting them on these conveyor belts and stuff to this beat of the music, and it just looks like some kind of dance or something. And the movie progresses like, you just never know what's gonna happen next. It's like, first we just are kind of looking at this woman like sorting these Twinkies, and then like 20 minutes later we're on the conveyor belt with all the other Twinkies, and it's like, you just like, he can't, I don't know, he must have taken him forever to like shoot all this. There's like so many crazy shots. I should mention that the cinematographer is Ray Fricky, or Ray Frick, Ray de Freak, and he is sort of kind of famous, I guess. I mean, he's famous for doing this because it's really fantastic. Like, this movie is great in the music, as I said, but also in the cinematography. He does so many crazy things with the camera that give a film that is kind of lacking momentum like 95% of its momentum. For me, like, the best parts are when there's people and he just kind of sets up in Times Square, and then people like kind of just like interact with his camera. Like, he didn't really say anything, but there's people that are like, there's like an old lady and she's like, what? And there's like an old guy and he's like, and then there's this like pretty lady with like crazy hair and she's like, so that's like fun. And there's this just completely random part where there's this like women who, I don't know, I mean, they're like waitresses or something. They pose for like a minute while the camera just like doesn't move. It's just sitting on them and they're like, so I would give this movie thumbs up for film buffs, film majors to brag about to their friends, stoners who like nature and explosions. Yep, that's probably it. And old people, I think old people like this kind of stuff. Thanks for watching YouTube for my second review. Whoa! Please keep watching, because there's going to be more of these, watching the movies, so you know whether you want to watch them, because my word is gold.